extraterrestrial life. For years, no, decades, humans have wondered, is there life out there? Are we alone? But what if they came to us? Would they be friendly? Would they try to befriend us? Would they view us as inferior and pets and perhaps try to domesticate us? Or would they view us as irrelevant bacteria and not give a damn about us and simply try to destroy us? Well, that's the question that we're going to ask today. And it's a complex one. Because obviously, we don't know anything about aliens. We don't even know if they're out there. This is all theoretical. This is not like some sort of serious, scientific Einstein cabal where we all come together and go, oh yes, let's talk about this theory and this theory. This is all theoretical. My thoughts on it are simple. And there's this game called Half-Life. This game series called Half-Life. And I know that a lot of people would roll their eyes and go, why are you talking about a game series when you're talking about reality? You're talking about something as serious as aliens and you're talking about a game. And I'll tell you why. It's because the game series is based, the whole story of this game is based on what would probably happen if aliens really did discover Earth. And so what happens in this, and spoilers by the way, but the games have been out for like 20 years. In the first game, you play as a scientist called Gordon Freeman. And he's doing this science experiment, and you accidentally open a rift to another dimension in this science lab. And in the second game, you find out what happened because of that. And what happened was aliens from other worlds came through this rift and essentially took over Earth. And they essentially enslaved us and did sort of genetic experiments on us and harvested Earth for all of its minerals, like drained its water so there was hardly any oceans anymore. They used humans for meat. They basically treated us like we treat pigs or cows, right? Like they viewed us as so inferior because we can barely get to the moon without shitting our pants, right? These guys have gone through solar systems like it's, I don't know, taking a bus or something, right? They view us as so inferior. They're just like, who cares? Oh, humans. To humans, and this is the reason why I use that example, it's quite philosophical. To humans, we are the be-all, end-all, right? Like, we are the top species. Like, there's nothing better than us. All of Earth, basically, is our bitches, if you really think about it. But we don't really like the thought, or most people haven't even comprehended the thought of what if we could potentially be another species, bitches? What if we could be what pigs are to us, right? And what if this could legitimately happen? It's my view that if aliens landed on Earth, a lot of people would be like, all the sci-fi fans, they'd be like, oh wow, this is amazing. And they imagine like this sort of Star Trek future where we're going to be shaking hands and like, they're going to give us all this great technology and we're going to just frolic off into the sunset. But I really don't think it would be like that. Because what would we do? You got to think, we don't know what aliens are like, so we have to assume that aliens are kind of like those. What would we do? If we found a planet full of monkeys, we would not be giving them iPhones, would we? Let's be real. We would be like, we might domesticate them a little bit, but we would probably do a lot of experiments on them. We'd probably drain all their planet and go, well, we can use these resources better than they can. Who cares if it's their planet? We're better. We're the better species. That's what they would do to us, I think. And so I think if I heard the news that aliens have landed on Earth, I'd be shitting my pants. I'd be like, well, that's it. That's basically like the death knell of our species, because I don't see them befriending us. Why would they do that? There's also the argument that maybe aliens have found us, because the chances, if you look at how big the universe are, of aliens not finding us is unbelievably low. It's unbelievably low that there isn't other life out there. There's a possibility that they've found us, and they're just sort of waiting it out to see how we progress, to see if we're worth even communicating with. It might be like kind of like a how people say leave nests alone, right? Or, leave animal habitats alone. Just let them do their own thing. Don't interfere, right? They could be doing that with us. They're just like, oh yeah, Earth, just leave it alone. They're a bit retarded right now. But maybe in the future, they might be they might be worth communicating to. I don't know, but I do think that the chances are, if they came here, they would not be our friends. They would be proper assholes. What do you think?
I don't think they would be assholes. I don't think they would destroy it.
Really?
No, I don't.
Why?
Think so. Because what would be the point? I mean, I think if aliens came here, or if they've already been here, they are so vastly superior to us that we would not be a threat at all. I mean, they would be to us.
But isn't that the point? Like, cows and pigs aren't a threat to us. They're like, compared to us, they're useless. But we take advantage of that. We take advantage of their weakness and go, well, what can we gain from their weakness? Oh, we can gain meat. Oh, we can gain milk. Oh, well, let's fuck their feelings or whatever. We don't give a damn about that. Some people do, but most people don't. Let's just take them for what they're worth. I'm thinking, why would they not do that to us?
I think we overestimate our worth to like something that
it might not be our worth. It might not be our planet's worth.
Yeah, probably. But also, if they have the technology to come here to our planet, then they would have the technology to go to a bunch of other planets and get resources. And I mean,
why? If we're not important, then on that logic, why would they care? Why would they not just come here and take Earth's resources? Because why would they care about us? Like,
well, I think they would probably study us. They'd probably do some experiments on us and study us, because we would be like a primitive state, or like an earlier stage of themselves, because they've probably gone through our stage. Maybe they didn't live like us in the slightest, but I mean, we keep evolving all the time. We were monkeys at one point.
Well, hang on. Well, on that logic, then, what would we do? Let's say, think of humanity in the year 3000, assuming we survive, right? And we can go to planets, and we found an Earth-like planet that was just like ours, but it was like 1,000 years backwards. Like, they've got technology as we do, but they can't just go to space or whatever. What would we really do in that situation, do you think?
I think we would observe it. We would probably conduct some experiments, maybe try to change some things, or maybe lead them in some direction. I don't know, but I don't think we'd just go there and destroy it.
I do.
I don't think so. No, not at all.
No, but think, why would we?
Been here.
Why would they try to change our direction? Because surely, if they want to study us, they can't interfere with us. Because if they interfere with us, they're interfering with nature.
Maybe they went somewhere, like in their, when they were evolving, maybe something went wrong, and they want to try to correct that, or maybe they want to experiment and see what happens if they live like this. I don't know. I think they will experiment on us and observe us. I don't think they will destroy us. And if life really...
You're thinking of it simply here. I'm not saying they'll destroy us because they get some sadistic kick out of it.
No, I don't mean that.
I'm saying I'm saying if they don't destroy us, they domesticate us. I'm saying that when you're at the top, you like to take over all aspects. We know this because humans are at the top of Earth.
That's because I mean, humans are like that. You don't know they would be like that.
No, but we have to assume that an intelligent species would be like us.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Have to assume that they're gonna be like us.
If they wouldn't try to dominate us, they wouldn't try to dominate the other species on their planet, and they would probably go extinct if that was their nature. The reason why humans are so at the top is because of our ability to ruthlessly dominate.
They would be at such a superior...
No. When they were primitive, they had to do that as well. Or they would have been wiped out by like the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were much dumber than humans, but they were much stronger. But we managed. Well, we didn't wipe them out, but you know what I mean. It's like all the other animals that were once a threat to us. We owned them.
But right now we are in charge. We don't have any.
But I'm saying we're in charge now because our nature is to dominate.
Yeah, and they probably had the same thing to them, but they don't have to do that anymore because they're so superior. And if they came here, Well, maybe they would view us that we view, I don't know, rats or something.
So you're telling me that they would just leave us and just be like, fuck it, let's watch them, let's have a
No, I didn't
laugh.
say that. I said I probably think they would conduct an experiment.
So from my perspective, if I was these people, like this superior species, I'd be thinking we need to put a stop to these guys while they're evolving, because otherwise they're going to get to a point eventually where they're just like us and they could be a threat to us. So let's domesticate them
because
now.
at that point they would have been evolved, further. They would be superior. They would always be superior because they evolved before we did.
No, I know, but I'm saying that it's just covering all your bases. Like, just eliminate the threat now while you can. If you have a village in Africa where there's if you have a village in Africa where there's like 10 humans, and the tiger population starts off at 1, and then a year later it's like 100, that village is gonna go, hey, maybe we should start killing the tigers, because these guys, despite being dumb as fuck on their own, they're getting to the point now where they might overwhelm us at some point.
Well, what would you do if you found a planet and there was like really primitive life on there? And I'm talking like bacteria and just really primitive life. Like we would probably be to somebody who has the technology and ability to come here. What would you do? Would you see that as a threat? Would you have to put a stop to that because eventually they could evolve and stuff? I don't know.
No, I see what you mean. You'd laugh at it and you'd be like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Not
What is
laugh
that thing?
at it, but you'd study it. Maybe you would use some of the resources. Maybe you'd, study the environment, make some experiments, but you wouldn't see it as a threat. Like I think we are so primitive to what they would be if they could come here.
What I'm saying
and
is,
I think people just overestimate the value of humans.
what I'm saying is, one thing's absolutely for certain: they would not come down here, shake our hands, and invite us into the universal, league, and we would be one of the honorary members, and we just never.
We're like monkeys. We couldn't do that. We couldn't invite a monkey to like a political.
We're not like monkeys at all. We're much more advanced. No, we're not.
Monkeys.
Yes, but it doesn't matter. I'm saying that they wouldn't even bother inviting us over because. That's not how. There will never be.
I'm not saying.
I don't think there will ever be, in the distant future. Let's say there are other alien planets out there with aliens on it who have intelligent life like us. We will never team up. We will never ever be like, hey, Earthlings and I don't know, Keplerians or whatever. We are now one. We are a union, because what would end up happening there is the Earthen people and the Kepler people, who are so different in DNA, couldn't merge with each other. They would end up hating each other. And what I'm saying is the universe, I think, will end up belonging to one species, and that species is the one who will be able to wipe all the others out. And I think that is how an advanced species would think. I think that they would. You only make pets of species who you find cute. I don't think that they would find humans cute, because I think we would resemble them. I think they would want to get rid of us. I really do believe that.
Monkeys cute. Why wouldn't they find us cute?
Well, maybe.
And why do they have to find us cute?
Because you only domesticate an animal that you find cute.
Do you think cows are cute?
No, but we domesticate them for the resources. Most people. Like, why would you want a pet Shih Tzu over a pet spider? Because a pet spider's fucking scary, but a pet Shih Tzu is pretty cute. So it all depends on, do they view us as Shih Tzus or spiders if they want to domesticate us. But I don't think they would. I think that they would just view us as a lesser version of themselves and go, just take the planet for what it's worth, whatever.
I think it's more, if you think about all of the million different species of animals we have on our planet, why would we not just wipe them all out then?
Well, we wipe them out if it helps us out. Think of all the species that have gone extinct. We don't give a fuck. We're just like, whatever, we're still around.
All the ones that we can't get anything from them. Like all the...
That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like, they would only destroy us if they see us as a threat to them. But if they don't see us as a threat to them, they'll domesticate us and make us like their pets. Like we do. But if they find us repulsive in some way, they'll just try to get rid of us.
I don't believe how we could possibly be a threat to them.
No,
we can't even leave our own planet.
I don't. But I know. Think about this, right? It's like the liberal scenario in politics, right? When you, like, Europe is very advanced on an Earth scale. Like in terms of human civilization, Europe is advanced. Somewhere like Africa is not advanced. You got like warlords and stuff. It's not like no one wants to go there. Basically, no one wants to live in Africa, really, right? And what you have in Europe, is you have liberals who say, "Oh, but we are all one. You know, we're all together." And then what do? They let a bunch of refugees in from Africa, and then what happens? It's like rapes everywhere and crime everywhere. And then these people are like, wait. And then these people are like, wait, what? I'm saying that what if you have a society like that doesn't seek conquest and domination, that society would have those sort of liberally minded people who would be like, they're just like us. Let's give them our technology. Let's like them. You know, let's bring them like us. Let's bring them up. Let's help these humans out. They can be just like us. And so if they did that and they gave us their technology to the point where we knew the same as them, we were equal to them, do not pretend like we wouldn't try to get rid of them. We would try to dominate us.
Yeah, but that would never happen. We could give like monkeys. Actually, monkeys wouldn't probably not do it justice. We could give fish and like spiders our technology. But why? I mean, why would they give us our technology? We would not be able to even comprehend.
Why are you assuming that we're not intelligent life?
We're not.
Of
course we're intelligent life, but we're not on their level.
No, we're not. No. We're not on their level because of time, not because of evolution. I don't think there's anything stopping humanity from reaching the point where we can have a sort of universal empire. The only thing is time and technology.
Yeah, true. But
if we could go in a time machine for 1,000 years,
but we can only speak of now because we don't know what happens in the future. We don't know how we will evolve. I mean, who knows? In 20 years, we might not even be here.
Oh yeah, but what's that got to do with anything? I'm saying that the only thing there's nothing stopping humanity from conquering space except technology. The only sort of physical limitation that we have is being stuck in this dimension. Like if there's higher dimensions that we can't process because we live in a 3-dimensional world, and if there is a 4-dimensional or 5-dimensional worlds up there, we can't comprehend that due to our evolution. But that's about it. There's nothing. Space is 3-dimensional. There's nothing stopping us from conquering that. So if we came across another species that was in our dimension, sounds like I'm on crack here, and they had a universal union, there's nothing stopping them from us from being them except the technology. If they gave us the technology and explained how it worked, we would be exactly the same as them after a while. And if they were liberally minded and generous, do not pretend like we would not eventually try to supersede them, because we absolutely would. Even if they've helped us, we absolutely would.
No, because that's what I mean with the monkeys. If we gave monkeys all the technology we had and told them, oh, this is how you do it, they still wouldn't know how to operate that because they're not advanced enough. We wouldn't be advanced enough.
What if they taught us? What if they taught us?
Because I don't believe
we can't give a monkey an iPhone.
No.
And because it's too stupid enough. Well, actually, I have seen a monkey use an iPhone. Believe it or not, they're not as stupid as we think. But en masse, they are legitimately physically inferior to us mentally. Not maybe physically, but mentally they are inferior to us. That's why I'm saying technology develops so quickly and evolution develops so slowly. A technologically advanced species would have pretty similar evolution to ourselves. And so the only differentiating factor would be the technology. And if they were stupid enough to give us that, and we were equal to them, we would try to take them over. And that's a threat.
That's why they would study us to know like what's going on, what are we? And what would we do? And obviously not. If we had that kind of technology, then we would just end up destroying ourselves and everything else. Because humans are like that. They're greedy. They're just care about power.
Why do you think that an advanced species would not also have greed? That would mean that we're like robots. If you eliminate the imperfections of a human, they're not a human anymore. They're just this machine. They're just a computer.
Well, who's to say they're not?
That's not life then. There's no life then. That's just a computer. That's just a processor at that point.
Yeah, but there must have been life creating that.
Yeah, well then they must have died out.
Well, no, maybe they just transferred them to technology because that's superior. Because
But I know that if we reach that point, and we will reach that point in this century, whereby humans start to get more like cyborgs, and when it got to the point where we could replace our mind with a machine, I think people would hesitate and go, no, that's wrong. Sure, if you want to calculate something quick, like do maths quick, that's great. Or maybe have Wikipedia in your brain and it's like, oh, I know the date of Henry VIII's death or something. Like you know that. But when it gets to the point where you have no emotion, you are not alive anymore at that point. You're not a human anymore. You need flaw. Or there's not, that everything's just a machine.
It means to be a human right now, but what it means to be a human in like 3,000 years is going to be different to what it means today.
Oh, I think that's universal.
Okay.
If you're a machine, you're not alive. You're literally just there. Like, how could you think if you're a machine? How could you do? What task would you have? What
you
dream?
can't comprehend that, but they can. That's why we're monkeys, Alex.
No, I don't buy that. I think an advanced species wouldn't voluntarily turn themselves into machines. Partially, they would take advantage of the technology, imbue it in themselves, But when it comes to the mind, they wouldn't do that.
Because you have morals and stuff. But what is to say they have the same morals as you do? Maybe they.
I'm judging from what I would do if I was them, and if I was them, I would 100% try to ensure that there's no threat to us whatsoever, and I would try to crush any evolving species and never give them any technology. That's why I used the Africa and Europe example earlier, because a lot of liberals in Europe led a lot of Africans and inferior cultures into Europe, and they wreaked havoc. Why?
Yeah, but that's
because
they wanted a cheaper labor force.
Yeah, I know why they did it, but I'm saying, but because they weren't civilized as the normal population was, the native population was, and what ended up happening was the native population suffered because of that stupidity and that naivety. And I'm saying I wouldn't want that to happen on a cosmic scale, whereby we give a less civilized species our technology, and then they end up trying to supersede us, and that makes our lives hell just because we were being nice and generous and liberal. I don't like that idea.
But I also think...
Oh, and by the way, before some prick says, are you calling Africans another species? No, I'm not. I'm using that as a cultural example of civilizations being at different levels of progress. You know what I mean?
And I think that if I was some sort of god person, and I found primitive life, I think I would sort of treat it like we do with aquariums. Like, we have this beautiful little world, basically, and we have fish and other like creatures, and we observe them. What
if Earth is a zoo?
Well, yeah, it could very well be. I don't know.
What if it is? What if it's just
I wouldn't feel threatened by my fish and their little world, and I feel like, oh, they're eventually gonna evolve in 5,000 years and be like I am today. Like, why would I do that? Because I would be at another point, and they would never be a threat to me. Get evolution out of your head. It's not about physical evolution. Physical evolution is so slow. It takes millions of years to grow an ear. Like, it's useless in the grand scheme. Technology is the thing that moves so quick. 20 years ago, most people didn't even have a phone, really. And now everyone has one. Most people have multiple. 100 years ago, a plane was a rare occurrence, and a car. It's like we've changed so much so quick because of technology, not evolution. And that's the key defining factor between a sort of conquering species and not. When Europeans invaded North America, and we were using guns, and the Native Americans were using bow and arrows. That's technology. That's not evolution. You need to know how to operate that technology, how to make that technology. And we can't do that. We can't.
No, but I'm saying, if we were dumb enough to be in that situation, and we gave another alien species who was inferior to us that technology, and they understood it and they knew it, they would do not pretend like they wouldn't use our own weaponry against us. China does this.
They might do.
China does this. The American companies, they make some intellectual property. China just steals it and then uses it against the Americans.
It's
the same thing.
Thoughts. If aliens came here, what would happen?
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying that you have to use examples of different civilizations being at different stages of progress and them fucking up and them stealing that and then superseding that. That's you have to use real history. And the only real history we have is Earth. And we've seen this throughout. As I said, when Europeans invaded North America, the Native Americans and Europeans were not evolutionary different. I mean, yeah, different, whatever, different her or whatever, right? But a Native American and a European, the DNA is not different. They can mate. They were both human. What separated the Europeans and the Native Americans was guns. And they had bow and arrows, we had guns, we had all this industrial technology, and they were still using smoke signals, right? And Europe conquered North America because of the technological gap.
Why did they go there?
Because they wanted to. Because they wanted to expand. They wanted they thought, oh, we're better. We can use this land better than they can. And I'm saying, why wouldn't aliens do that to us?
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
They need to live somewhere.
And the native people, they were in their way. They couldn't do that unless they,
got rid of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that then you have to think, why would aliens come here? If they come here,
what if they want another Earth?
Yeah, if they come here and that's what they want, then it's quite obvious that's what they would do. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the reason why they come here.
No, of course not. But what the hell? Why else would they? Look, I think it's so foolish.
Why would we go out in space?
To get more Earth. I want another Earth. You're telling me if humanity found another Earth and there was a bunch of dumb fuck monkeys on there, we wouldn't just go, get them out. Hey, it's new New York. It's new London. It's new Las Vegas. Of course we would. Yeah, we'd be sending people over there by the millions. Get your free housing, everyone. Get that's exactly what we would do.
Maybe we could find a way to live with the monkeys.
We wouldn't do that because we don't live with monkeys here. We would just.
Do.
No, we don't.
We live with monkeys.
We either kill them or domesticate them. That's what we do. But we're not like friends with them. We're not like, oh hey man, here's your iPhone. Here's your Apple Watch. It's like, oh hey man, you want some money? Want a job?
At that point,
and they never will be at that point because they're not evolved enough. That's what I'm saying.
Just like we are into the aliens.
Oh my god, we are. It's not about evolution with us. We are evolved. We are really evolved. It's about technology. That's the defining factor. And I'm saying that if there was a massive sort of hegemonic dominant species, they wouldn't give us the technology because we'd use it against them. They would try to get rid of us so that they can use the planet for themselves because they only would care about themselves in the long run. Because that's what humans are like. That is our nature.
Humans are like. They are not humans.
Oh, but they would be like us.
No.
If they're so different that they're not like us, that they're like squids or something, we would never interact with them anyway. Because we would be so different, we would just be like, what the fuck are you? And they'd be like, what the fuck are you?
They probably wouldn't come here themselves. They would probably send out their, technology, AI.
Oh, that's true. They'd probably send some sort of robots, because they wouldn't want their physical.
If they don't know what to expect, they wouldn't, come here themselves.
Yeah. Well, it's very rare that they would come here themselves anyway, frankly. I mean, nowadays we know that if you don't. In warfare today, we send missiles and nukes, whatever. We don't send men anymore.
If they wanted the resources, I mean, they could just get their things to take them. They would never have to set foot here, ever.
Well, all I know is I don't think they'd be our friends. I'm absolutely certain of that because I can tell you right now, we would not be friends to another species like us. They would not be here to benefit us. I would love it if they were. I'd love it if they came here and was like, hey man, we're so dumb, we're going to give you our technology. And so then you can use it against us in a few years' time. All right, bye. And if they're that stupid, then that's great. But I would compliment them by saying they're probably not that dumb. If they've managed to get to that point, they're probably not that stupid.
But just because, why do you think they would give us their technology and their resources if they come here? It's not either that or they will destroy us. Why can't you just live? They wouldn't destroy us, but they don't have to give us all of their technology. They can just, observe us. I don't know. The
Well,
pests.
they could do.
But they don't have
They
to
could do-
destroy us
sure.
or give us all the
Sure.
technology.
Sure, they could do, but the prerequisites of that is they don't want Earth, which means they've got a lot more. They've got a lot of planets.
Well, if they have
Or
access to Earth,
they're not
access
asked.
to the rest of space, right?
Yes, so what? If wouldn't it save resources if you could just take the planet you've already seen, which is us, rather than going off to another one for no bloody reason? Like, our planet is right.
Here that easily. Well, then I'm imagining it can't be that.
Look, we know for a fact that Earth is a rarity. Our planet is rife for life. There's no life on Mars.
not.
No, listen.
No, we
No.
know it's a rarity.
There's no life on Mars or Mercury or whatever, or
know
advanced
it's
life.
a
Advanced life. We know Earth's a rarity because there's fuck all exoplanets out there that we've discovered thus far.
Yeah, but that's because
It's a rarity compared to gas planets and whatnot. There's way more of
Yeah,
them.
but they say there's more stars in space than there is grains of sand here. And I mean, we don't even know what Mars looks like. So how could you say Earth is a rarity? It doesn't have to be.
Because if Earth wasn't a rarity and life was so common, we would see life absolutely everywhere in the universe because it would be so common, and there would be
been there.
tons of species out there like us who would have evolved before and after us, and we would see it. We would look in the sky and we'd be like, "Oh, look, it's the I don't know, Stardust Empire over there. Oh, hello, guys." You know, we would see them,
No, we
but we
wouldn't.
don't see anything.
Because space is so enormous. Like we wouldn't have to see it. I don't think we can comprehend how big it is.
Okay, I have to judge everything from what we do. Humans, even the most shitty places on the planet, we will try to make our own and civilize. Like Antarctica, we're even trying to do it there. Like, name me a country on Earth that has no humans. Fucking none. There's people everywhere. Because we try to go everywhere. When we find something, we're like a sort of bacteria. We spread and we make it our own.
Yeah, but look, if there's like trillions and trillions of planets, and an Earth-like planet is like 1 in 500,000, I mean, it sounds like it will be a rarity, but in the grand scheme, it's not a rarity then.
So if it's not a rarity, why is there not loads of other species like us? Because if it's
there
not,
probably is.
Why can't we see them?
Because we can't even leave our planet. Maybe they can.
Hello.
Maybe they're in,
But what?
maybe
Yeah,
they
but
are
come
in
on.
the same
Surely,
stages as we are.
surely,
Maybe they're a little
surely.
bit behind us. Maybe they're
Shut
a little
up.
bit.
Surely, if there's loads of planets out there, surely at least one has managed to do that. One out of, I don't know, as you say, billions. There must be one planet out there who's advanced enough to conquer the universe. But we don't see shit. We don't see diddly squat. And be real here. No. Be real.
They want to
Be real.
conquer the
Of course.
universe.
Yeah, I do. I do assume that because that's what we want. We don't want to go to
does
space
it
to.
mean
We don't want to go to
conquering?
space to watch bacteria and go, "Oh, it's cute." We want to go there
I
to
wanna
get
go for
to
that
get.
reason.
Yeah, I know you do, but the vast majority want a new Earth. We want a new planet, and we want. What do you think the end game for humans is really? Like,
No, I know it is.
right
to
now
spread.
we're on here, to spread.
Yeah.
That's been our goal from when we were a cell. It's like that game Spore, where you start off as a cell
Yeah, but
and then you grow and grow. That's our aim.
Advanced species haven't spread to other planets.
Because we don't see them. They're not spreading well enough, are they?
Alex, you don't realize how big space is. Maybe they
do.
have spread, and who is to say they aren't walking here right now?
If they were so successful and they spread, we'd see them because they would be here. Because I know, damn well, for certain, if humanity could spread, as soon as we can have the ability to go to other planets, like you can take a bus, we would be fucking everywhere. We would be like everywhere. There wouldn't be a planet there wouldn't be a planet that we could inhabit that we would not be on. 100%. We would be everywhere. You couldn't look without seeing something to do with humans, just like what happened on Earth. Earth used to be full of trees and very natural. You look now, skyscrapers. You got the human hand has been everywhere. Yes, there are some places where they haven't been, but that's out of our generosity, not because you know. It's like what I'm saying
There's
is
also places where life can't exist. Like we couldn't just move to Antarctica because it's not.
Yeah, but we try to make it exist there. There are people in Antarctica right now.
Yeah, but you're saying that there would be people everywhere and that Earth is a rarity. Well, the planets around us. First of all, we haven't even been to like Mars, And that's the closest planet to us.
Well, we kind of have. Humans haven't, but yeah. And it's not...
What do you mean?
Like, well, we've kind of been there.
Yeah, we kind of sent something out there. We kind of got some pictures.
Yeah, we know there's fuck all there, pretty much. There's no cities there. I ain't seen anything there.
No, because if you haven't seen anything there, then surely they couldn't.
I don't buy this argument that people make. This sort of, then they think they're being like philosophically like genius, where they go, well, life doesn't necessarily have to be like us humans. It's like, well, it might not be, and the sky might not be blue. It might be green, but I have to go off what we can see, and we know that the core of life is water, and everything that has life pretty much spawns from water. And so if there's no water, we have to assume there's no life. That's why we're so obsessed with Titan's moon, like Titan, because
there's liquid water.
There could be water there, and that means there could be life there. That's why we're so obsessed with it. So I don't buy that a rocky shithole like Mars has life on there, because there's no fucking water there to our knowledge. And so I'm not buying that.
No, but Mars could be a planet that once had life.
I don't give a fuck if it once had life.
That's what people are more interested in. If they could find the signs that there once have been life on Mars. Because that would mean that life is not a rarity. Life is, it's all over the universe.
Okay. I just think that's a given. I just think that's I don't need Mars to tell me that. I know that. I don't know that with 100% certainty, but I'm pretty goddamn certain that that's the case.
Yeah, if space is as big as...
What's the chance? What's the chance? But I'm saying that, to me, life equal water. So if there's no water, I'm going to assume there's no life. Might not necessarily be true, but any life that we would recognise as life and really care about needs water.
Yeah, but you said that there's already confirmed life on exoplanets. You said that there's trees on exoplanets.
There has to be.
Well, there has to be, but it's not been confirmed.
All right, well, we'll wait a few years until trees get confirmed to be there on exoplanets. Probably the first life we will ever come into contact with will be something boring as fuck, like a tree or bacteria. It won't be like another like human species or something. It will just be something dull, like, oh look, there's a alien fungus, and everyone's like, wow, that was really boring.
That would be amazing. That would be so crazy.
We got different definitions of amazing. But anyway, we've gone on for 40 minutes. We should see what the people said. So I went on Reddit, of course, my favourite website in the world, and we asked a question. We went a bit off topic there, actually. The original question was... What was the original question?
Would aliens who landed on Earth be more likely to befriend us, domesticate us, or destroy us?
Yeah, so curious to hear your thoughts on this. Names and thoughts. What are they?
Rekna Wank said, destroy us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it did not say why.
No, because...
Very, very good, very great response. If you give a response, you can't just say, destroy us. Why not let us peek into your boundless intellect and let us know why you think that? But I agree.
I don't. Yeah, well, okay. He's called that. He said, I think we're more than likely to encounter aliens and want to destroy us for our resources, mostly because that's what we would do to them.
Exactly what I just said, 100%. We would do that to them. Like, that's human nature, to identify, if inferior, conquer, destroy, take advantage of. That's exactly what we would do. We've got to assume that's what they would do because we're the only intelligent life to base off.
Darth Necromancy said, I was thinking about this the other night. As the Earth sits right now, there's nothing I can think of that aliens would gain by revealing themselves to us. They would be better off waiting until humans are leaving the solar system, and then we might have something to talk about.
I don't think we've got anything to talk about. I think that they would... I don't buy that. We need to get this idea out of the heads that aliens would want to befriend us and be like, hey man, you're so cool, let's be bros, man. They wouldn't want to do that. They would want something from us, or they would... Like humans, if you think about it, every single thing we do is because we think we will gain something from it. It's not for others. We don't do things for others by our nature. That's why communism failed and capitalism is a success. Because communism expected you to do everything for nothing, and capitalism is the opposite. You want to, like, we every decision we make, we subconsciously think, how will this benefit me and my agenda, whatever that decision is, even something as simple as washing your hands or something like we do something for a reason. They would think the same way, yeah, I assume. And they wouldn't help us for the sake of helping us. They would only help us if it benefited them. And why would it benefit them to help us out? I don't think so.
The Country Life 194 said, they'd say, hey bro, we're not gonna do much yet. We'll let you figure things out before we F you up.
Okay, though that response was retarded as hell, the fact that he assumed also that they would fuck us up pretty much summarizes human nature as well. Because they would fuck us up.
I don't think so.
Because we would fuck them up.
I still don't think so.
Well, you're crazy then.
Yeah, okay. LapI.WA something. I think they would come and it wouldn't matter because we'd attack first, then be destroyed because humans are idiots. Yes, humans are idiots.
No, I don't buy this whole humans are idiots, we suck, we're awful. No, I don't buy that. We are the greatest species in history thus far. I don't think we would be dumb enough to try to attack humans. I don't to attack humans. God, I've just revealed I'm an alien. Sorry. We'll edit that out. I don't think that humans are dumb enough to attack aliens if they've come here, because we would know that these guys are serious business and they would fuck us up. Like, we're not that stupid. Sure, if they landed in the middle of, like, I don't know, fucking Ukraine or something, and there was some, I don't know, old man walking down the street and he saw an alien, he might try to attack them or something. But, like, the average, the grand consensus of humanity would not be, get the nukes, we wouldn't do that. We would realise then the gravity, no pun intended, of the situation we're in, and that we're pretty much fucked at that point, I think.
I mean, I'm not really sure. Humans still don't really know how many genders there are, so.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of stupid people, right? But the average person is not. Actually, I don't know about that. Next.
Bjark156 said, an impossible question to answer since we know nothing about any aliens. Yes, I agree with that very much.
No, not at all. Oh, for God's sake. Of course we don't know anything about aliens. But the whole point is that you theorise, right? If we only spoke about things that we were 100% sure of, no one would ever say anything. It's like, in fact, nothing would ever get done scientifically. Nothing would ever get done scientifically because there'd be no theoretical. There'd be no theories because, we can only talk about things we absolutely are 100% sure about. We never progress as a species. We're talking about this to get the mind moving, and to think and go, okay, what would our response be? What, etc., etc. But yeah, we know nothing about them. But predict, man. Have some creativity. Use your brain. Don't go off what you know. Go off what you want to know or what you wish you knew. That's what I would say.
Yeah, well done.
Was that all of them?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the grand consensus from the responses was, yeah, they would probably be hostile to us. I can't believe you don't think they wouldn't be hostile to us.
I think, but look, when we talk about aliens as well, if there's really like trillions of planets out there and there's like life, there must be tons of different types of aliens. Well, some of them might want to come and destroy us and take our resources. Others might not. I mean, you can't really. When we say aliens, there must be tons of different aliens.
I can say that with absolute certainty, that an alien species might not be physically like us, but they are mentally like us. Because the only way a species would conquer their own planet is if they had a mind like us, which is to dominate. The only way a species would even advance technologically is if they had a mind to dominate and compete against each other in their own species and advance. If they do not have that mindset of domination, they would go extinct and they would never ever reach that point.
Well, they don't have to go extinct if they've gone into technology.
Look, study, but they wouldn't get the technology to begin with in the first place. Look at humans, right? And again, I hate to sound like I'm making it political, but you kind of have to use it as an example. think of conservative people. Conservative people are typically very family orientated, and they tend to reproduce, and their bloodline tends to continue, and they tend to be very stern people to outsiders, but within their own, they do well. They carry on well through generations, and they're typically quite wealthy and do well for themselves. Meanwhile, you look at liberals, and they tend not to last a generation because they don't reproduce. They stop reproducing, and they sort of let others take advantage of them, and they just sort of die out after a while. A species that has a liberal mindset will not survive, as is the case with any political construct with that mindset. Whereas, or cultural construct. Whereas, if you have a conservative mindset, you will continue, because that's sort of the whole point, isn't it? I mean, it's in the name, conserve, in a way. I just think that a species that is like that would go extinct.
Yeah, but they probably were at that point. But then, technology and other resources, I mean, they can live so differently from us if they're so superior. You don't know, Alex. And I mean, we are at the point right now, we don't have to think like that. I mean, we are already on top. We don't have any threat from any other species on our planet. And they might not have had that for, I don't know, millions, billions of years. Maybe they never did. Maybe their life came to be in another way than ours did. We don't know, because, it's
No, but I'm saying, even if a species got to that point where they had a power monopoly, then they would become liberally minded, because they don't need to constantly be like on the survival, and survive. But I'm saying a species who gets liberally minded will inevitably go extinct, because they would stop reproducing for a start, and they would get crushed. They would be too generous. They would be too generous to other species, and they'd get crushed by their own naivety. Because what made them good in the first place has been lost. I say, take a look at Europe today. Europe was a continent of conquerors. That is a fact. Empires and created amazing things. And then because over the generations, they got lax and they got sort of naive, they started inviting the rest of the world into Europe, and Europe today is like a crime-filled hellhole. And I'm saying, if you apply that to a cosmic scale, a species who once conquered the universe and got to that point would eventually become, over the generations, lazy, would slowly degenerate, become lax, think that they're holier than thou and nothing can ever happen to them and they're untouchable. They would be too polite to the inferior sort of species. They would give us the technology and we would use it against them, and that would be like a cycle of sort of domination, naivety, and then they get crushed, and it would be like this endless cycle. A species could not survive with that mindset for a very long time. They couldn't. They would get crushed by their own stupidity.
I don't think every alien civilization have one liberal and one conservative party. Like, they don't have to think like us. They don't have to be like us.
I didn't say that. I didn't say parties. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about mindset. I'm saying that people who think liberally, and we can see this from our observations with our own species, do not survive. They die out because they're too naive and they're too generous and they're too polite, and they get crushed by the more conservative forces. And I'm saying that if a species didn't have any threats, it would eventually devolve and get to that point. It would get too liberal and it would be destroyed by the people, the species it tried to help.
At that point.
Yeah, but they would give it to us.
No, why would they do that?
Because they're too polite. They're too naive.
No, they wouldn't.
Why would they not?
Why would they be so naive? I don't get
because they would say exactly as you just did. Well, we made the technology. We've been in charge for millennia. There's no way that these humans could ever do anything to us.
Yeah,
give them the nukes. Give them the nukes.
I wouldn't do that, and I never said I would. Of course, I wouldn't give them my technology if there was a risk that they would use us, in something that wasn't in favor of me.
And why is that? Why is that? Because you can comprehend.
No.
Because you can comprehend that an inferior species like ourselves could actually do damage to them, even if they're so advanced. And why is that?
I wouldn't destroy them because they can't even leave their own nest. They're not gonna be.
I'm saying they would help us do that if they had a liberal mindset. They would build us up. They would help us, and then that would be their folly because we would end up destroying them because we would not think like that. We don't think we're bulletproof in that way. If we found them, we would constantly feel under threat by them. We wouldn't think that we're bulletproof. They would feel at ease, and that would be their end. Never underestimate your opponents, and that's what they would do. Look, bottom line is, if you think that aliens wouldn't try to domesticate us or harm us and that they would be our best friends, you're a fool. That's what I think.
I never said that. I said I think.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. I said if they come here, they would probably observe us. They would conduct experiments. I don't think they would come here just wipe us all out. I don't think so.
I do.
And if life really is so rare, why would they do that? Wouldn't they want to study us? And, I don't know, use us for something? They would not. I don't think they would.
Use us for something being the key word. Use us.
Use our
So
elements
only if we have a use would they help. Would they do anything with us?
No, I said they would experiment on us. They would
Why?
observe us.
Why? Because we help them in some way. And if we don't help them in some way, if they've studied a million other species before us and they come across us and it's like, oh, look at these boring fuckers.
No, it's like,
gone.
do we study all the new insect species we find?
Because we're interested in how they could benefit us. And if we came across an insect that was just like a million others that we've seen before, and it doesn't benefit us, we're instantly going to lose interest and go, we don't give a fuck. It's just another insect. And that's what I'm saying with us.
Yeah, but that's not how it works when they research and stuff. Like, they don't say, oh, it's just another insect, then they throw it away.
They would probably catalogue it and then go, whatever.
You do that, but there's other people that wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, they would catalogue us and then go, whatever. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but it's the same, like why people are also interested in history.
Wasn't the question, what if they came here? Not what if they didn't come here. If they didn't come here, they didn't come here. What the hell are we meant to do? But I'm saying if they did come here.
I answered that question. If they came here, which I think they already have. I think aliens have already been here. Well, no.
That's a question for another time.
Yes, but I said I think they would conduct experiments on us. I think that they would observe us. Yeah, that's what I think they'll do. Maybe in the future, if they find us a threat, they might have other plans, but that's what I think right now.
Well, that's fair.
Yes.
Well, you basically think the same thing as me then.
No, because I get the impression you just think they see us. Oh, they're gonna drain all our waters. No, then they're gonna.
I'm
put
saying
a nuke on us,
if they can gain something,
explode,
if they can gain something from us, they will do, and that's it. And that's it. There's nothing we can do about it. You know, they sent out. You know what I think the biggest mistake humanity ever made was like in human history, full stop. We sent.
Oh, yes, sending out the thing.
We sent out a golden disc in like the 70s or something, which had like our exact coordinates on. It's basically like a fucking invitation to get fucked. It's like, why have we done that? We've just sent it out to Earth with like music on and like what we look like and everything. And it's like, why have we done that? If they came to us, do you think they would be like our friend? We're not fucking ready for that.
Clearly everyone doesn't agree with you and the majority of the Redditors then, because then they wouldn't send something like that.
No, I think they did that because we were just fucking naive at that point. Like in the 70s. I think it's only recently people have started to realise, wait a minute, was that really a smart thing to do? I think that was the dumbest mistake we ever made. I hope that fucking disc got owned by a meteor, and God, I hope it doesn't reach anywhere, because that is basically like, it's like being Bin Laden and going on CNN and giving your address and being like, hey guys, I'm here. Hello, what are you? And it's like, what are you, fucking stupid? Stay hidden. I don't know. I just think bottom line is,
I don't know.
Bottom line is we don't know.
I would like them to come here.
I fucking wouldn't. If I had two buttons, aliens come here or aliens don't come here. Don't come here.
No,
don't come here.
Please.
Do not get the fuck away, please.
I would allow them to do experiments on me.
Alright, that's enough. Jesus Christ.
I would.
No.